You're listening to From Our Lens, a podcast for photographers and brides where we dive into all things weddings.
Whether you're a pro behind the lens or a bride-to-be, we've got you covered.
Join in on the conversation and take it from the gals who have been to a wedding or two.
Grab your camera or your wedding planner and tune in for our hot wedding takes. Let's focus on your forever.
Welcome back. We're in Kelowna, hence the wine cheers. I feel like I had to do it.
Yes.
I was like, we're in Kelowna, we're drinking Kelowna wine. We had to do the little cheers.
Yeah, for sure.
So welcome back. We are taking a little work vacation.
Yeah, Jordan flew out yesterday to come see me.
It was
and we
great.
have a fun little weekend planned. We're doing some
Yes.
podcasting and some shoots.
Yeah.
And yeah, we'll have some fun content.
I'm just happy to not be at home.
Yes, totally.
Like, I
So
think
nice here.
it's like our last month before we get busy
Yeah.
again. So we're like taking full advantage.
Ugh, honestly, it's about to hit the fan.
Pop off.
Yeah.
It's about to hit the fan. Pop off or hit the fan. Probably both. It's
Both.
fine.
Yeah. So today we decided that we're gonna share some wedding horror stories.
I'm excited. These always crack me up. And like they're like stories that I forget happened. And then
Yeah.
I like think and I'm like, oh my God.
And
that
the thing
actually
is,
happened.
when you're a wedding photographer, like stuff happens, and it's not always. It's
No.
out of your control.
Things happen. You just gotta have a
And,
good laugh about it
yeah.
afterwards, which is what we're gonna
You
do.
can either be traumatized or you can just keep rolling on. I feel like there's moments in my career that I don't know. I was tempted to quit. And I don't know
we've
if
all
any of
had
these
it.
are, but like, yeah, there's some very traumatizing things that can happen as a wedding photographer.
It is what it is. Like,
Yeah.
you have to like look back and laugh about even
Totally.
when we were preparing for this episode, we're like thinking about some of these.
Yeah.
And like some things just popped into my head that I had forgot, like blocked out of my mind.
Honestly,
I'm
maybe like
just
trauma block.
Goodbye. I don't want to
Yeah.
ever think about this again.
And I think we have to save the best story for last. There is one story
I'm
that
already getting sweaty about it.
it is I don't even know how you would describe this story.
I don't know. You know, it's just one of those things that you can't really make up.
Yep. It's a story, so you have to stay tuned till
Stay
the end.
tuned.
But yeah, I guess these are all of our stories, by the way. We want to do an episode eventually on like we want to look up like Reddit stories
We
or
wanna
maybe like
blind react to some
Yeah.
stuff because I love like going down the wedding rabbit hole and
Yes.
just reading like the crazy
things that have
to
happened.
people.
And we want to ask like our followers too. So like on our Instagram, we're going to post a thing saying like share your crazy stories. So
Oh, yeah.
we're very excited to see.
I hope you guys can laugh with us, laugh
Yeah.
at us, laugh.
And most of these are just funny and us making fun of ourselves. Like
Most of it is stuff we've done to ourselves.
yeah, totally.
So-
Maybe not all, but hence the
what
last
it
story.
It is what it is. But
Yeah. But maybe, do you want me to start with a story?
Yeah, you
or you're
start.
gonna
I feel like
Okay.
you should start.
So
I'm
this
ready.
is a story that didn't happen to me personally, but it happened to my second shooter. So I was out here in Kelowna and we had a beautiful wedding at a golf course, and I flew out one of my friends from Nate to come and second shoot.
Yeah.
And we flew her out a couple days before, so we did some wineries, we're hanging out, and
Sounds
then
great. Sounds
yeah,
beautiful.
it was
Sounds
awesome.
good.
It was just like a nice chill couple days, and then the morning before or the day before the wedding, we were like, oh, let's go on a little paddleboard. Like we were just hanging out at like my grandparents' beach, whatever, and then all of a sudden my dog kind of runs in onto the beach, and there was like geese there, so my friend was like trying to save my little dog, and then she gets stung on the lip by a bee. And she was like, ow, like that hurt, whatever. And then all of a sudden her lip starts like swelling and swelling and swelling.
Like Sarah sent me a picture and I'm like,
Yeah.
who is that?
It looked like she
who
had like
is
mega
that?
Botox done. And it was like she was having a reaction to the Botox. Like her whole face was swollen. And she starts like her breathing gets labored. Like she was having 100% allergic reaction. So we get in the car, drive her to the hospital, and we're sitting in emergency. And the nurses were kind of like joking about it. Like they're like, oh, did you get some bad Botox? Like they were like making fun of her.
Please help us out. We
And
need to shoot a wedding
yeah,
tomorrow.
it was so bad.
Can't
And
look like this.
I'm like freaking out because this is my second shooter, and like she was supposed to go in the morning to the guys and I was going to the girls, and I was like, this is the night before this bride's wedding. What am I gonna do? So I started thinking of things. I was like, hey, I could get up earlier and go to the groomsmen and like just do them before and then go. And they were at a complete different location than the girls. So I messaged Brad and I was like, hey, I'm at the hospital with my second shooter. Don't know if she's going to make it tomorrow, but... And the bride was so chill. She was like, yeah, don't worry. Just come early to the guys, whatever. But she ended up getting an EpiPen and all was good. And the next day, her whole face was just like swollen. Like she did not look like herself, but it had gone down quite a bit. But poor girl, it was brutal. It made for a funny story. And she was a trooper and still like it hurt. Her whole face was so swollen. Like
that's the thing about like, listen, like we have it, like this is our job, right?
Yeah.
But like, it's like if you worked at an office, you just call in sick the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
But we can't really do that. Like, we don't get that opportunity unless you have someone like magically that can go shoot a wedding for you. If you get sick, you have to like go.
No, and that's the thing. And for
like,
second shooters or like if you had an associate, like I know that no matter what, I would still go to a wedding unless I literally was like on a machine on the
ventilator.
I would do anything I could.
You're like rolling up
I'm ready
with your IV and you're like, okay, I just need some concrete so I can roll this thing.
But I feel like that's something you agreed to as a photographer. Like what do you do if you can't shoot a wedding? Like that is my worst nightmare. So I know that I'm gonna do whatever I can to shoot it, but like your second shooters, that's not like, you know, but she was amazing. She still went like
that's freaking
so
wild.
good, but and of course, like she's like, I didn't like one time she had gotten bit by a bee and it was on her hand and her hand like kind of like got swollen.
I think face bites because I got a bite on my lip once from a bee and it swelled up and I've never really swell up from stuff. I think it's just maybe like on the face it affects you more.
They do say that every time you get stung, your reaction gets worse.
Oh.
So like you
develop
an allergy to it. I don't know.
That's not fair.
Because the first time it happened, she like her whole hand was swollen, but now she has to carry an EpiPen with her because like then that's what happens is like
oh my god,
you just like can't breathe and like
you
go into terrifying.
Okay.
So good thing we live very close to or fairly close to a hospital. It was like 20 minutes, but
oh my god,
it was now it's funny, but she was quite embarrassed.
It's just stressful.
Yeah, so that's my first one.
Okay,
but
all right,
let's hear.
Okay, one time I was really excited for my shoot. I had it in Jasper.
Yeah.
I was meeting a couple there that I hadn't met before. Like they were from Jasper. I was super stoked. I got there early. I was like, yes, I'm ready. I'm like getting my cameras set up, and then they drove up. So I was chatting with them, and I like just put my harness on, put my cameras on the harness, and we went. And it was a small hike, so we like started our little climb up this mountain. And it wasn't like a mountain. Like, I'm not saying it was like an hour. Yeah. But it was a good 20-minute hike. And it was pretty, like, you were out of breath by the time you got there. Like, it was hard enough. We're chatting. Everything was going great. I was, like, so excited. There's wildflowers. It's sunset. Aww. We get up there. And I'm like, okay, like, go stand over there. I'm just going to test my settings. Turn my one camera on. No card. I'm like, okay, if we have card in the other one, it'll all be okay. Turn the other camera on. No card.
No.
And I'm like... First of all, my first thought is I'm in Jasper, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I can't just go home and get a card if I forgot them all at home. I'm like, hey, tell me I'm not an idiot and just didn't bring all my cards. Hopefully they're in the car.
Yeah.
So then I'm like, okay, guys, like my cards are in the car. I have to go get them. And so I like turn around to like go down and the walk of shame down this mountain pretty much. Turn around. Bite it, fall down this small hill right in front of them. And like at this point, they're probably like, who is this girl? Because like we've never met. Like we had a good first impression, but now it's just like slowly. And they're like, they were.
And then you get stressed because you feel like.
And they're from Jasper, so they're like probably hiking all the time. And I hike, but like I'm not like an avid hiker.
Yeah.
And they're probably like, why did we hire this this girl, this girl that doesn't know how to hike, falls down. I'm just like, so I walk down and like praying that there's cards, and I think I just forgot to put them in because I was talking to them because I wasn't fully ready when they got there, and I just got excited. So yes, I had cards. I put the cards in, but then I had to hike all the way back up the mountain. They were beautiful though, and like it was fun. It was great. The shoot went beautiful. All is well. But
was that the couple from Australia?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, they were really awesome. Yeah. But
oh damn,
I will never forgive myself ever. That's hilarious. Just like that was the stupidest thing I've ever.
It's funny because like that's something that's just like you can laugh about it, but in the moment you're like, "Gah, what did I do?"
No, and then I was very out of breath. I get up there and they had rested while I was walking down and back up again, so I'm out of breath again, and I'm like, okay, let's just go.
That's so funny. I love it.
Like, what can you do? I guess I don't know.
Oh, and they probably were chill about it after though. They
we laughed.
Yeah,
but I felt like a stupid idiot.
How sweaty were you?
I was sweaty. It was really hot that day too.
But
now I like bring my whole camera bag.
Yes.
Like, yeah. I don't know why I didn't. I was flustered. I was excited.
But
I
when
was just
like they show up early and you're like getting ready, then you probably were like, oh, then you feel like you're late or something.
Yeah, which I wasn't.
No, exactly.
They were early too, I think. So it's not
totally.
even anyone's fault. But I'm just like,
oh my goodness, that's so funny.
Yep. Happens to the best of us.
I'm trying to think of like a thing like that I've done. I guess one that's kind of funny is I was doing a family photo shoot and I knew them, but like didn't really know like, you know, who was dating who or whatever. And like, so there was a mom and grandpa and grandma and 2 brothers and a sister, and both brothers had girlfriends. And then there's this other kid. So I assume this is the sister's boyfriend. Mm-hmm. So we started doing pictures, and like each brother got pictures with his girlfriend, and we did like cute like couples pictures. And then the sister wanted pictures with this guy who I assumed was her boyfriend. So I was like, put your hand on his chest, look at each other and laugh, tuck her hair behind her ear. And they were like so awkward. But
wait, but they did it?
But they did it, but they didn't say anything. And they were just laughing. And then everyone's...
And you're like, maybe they're just
maybe they're just awkward, like whatever.
Yeah, some people are like that.
And then the family was all laughing and I just like kept going. And then I realized after, that was their billet. Not the girl's
this little 18-year-old kid.
Yes. It was their hockey billet.
He's like, oh, I have a girlfriend now.
But they got family photos, and then like, you know, he was a part of their family, so they
like
had him in there.
So salty that they wouldn't tell you beforehand.
I know. Well, and I just kind of assumed because I didn't know that who everyone was dating and whatever. But
oh my God.
It's
hard
so
sometimes.
Funny.
You don't know.
Well, especially when you're doing like lots of families, whatever, you kind of just assume. That's why on wedding days, I always ask, like, what's the family situation?
I do
like,
too.
Are there any circumstances you need to know?
Put these
you
people
never
away
know.
from each other. Yes.
Because at weddings, there's always, and you don't want to say something and feel stupid because, and like if someone lost a parent and you're like, oh, you want a picture with your dad? Like, you don't want to bring that up.
No.
So you need to know.
No.
But in that, in the family photos, you just kind of, I don't know.
One time, well, this is kind of like that one. One time I'm at this wedding, I get to the guys getting ready, and I'm like introducing myself, and I'm like, hey, like, blah, 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 hi, Mitch, because I know the groom, right, because I met him. And then I like see the one guy, and I should have clarified. But I'm like, oh, you must be the groom's dad. Like, nice to meet you. And then he's like, he shakes my hand, and he's like shaking my hand, like going with it. He's like, yeah, I'm his brother. And I'm like, oh, he was, and then they all laughed about it, but the whole day they were like calling him like daddy dad. Like,
you thought he was the dad?
Because I thought he was the dad. He's like, I just look old for my age.
And he wasn't even that much older?
No. I don't know why I did that. I'm like, why, Jordan? Why did you do that to yourself?
That's funny. But
it made a funny story.
Yes.
They laughed at dad
as long
all
as
day.
Easygoing people. And,
when we did like the picture, I think of like for like the bridal party photos, when it was his turn to get a picture with the groom, they did like a funny little dad and son photo.
And it was his brother? Oh my God. Well, he probably looked like him.
Yeah.
Not really.
Well, he did look like him. That's why I thought he was the dad.
That's so funny.
I don't know. There's just like I had a blonde Jordan moment.
But sometimes you just kind of like assume things too. Like,
it is what it is.
You never know. Yeah, I don't know.
Crying.
That's
like,
so funny.
They were hilarious about it, but there's some people that would be very offended.
Yeah, totally.
And like, I don't mean it. I see so many people like at a wedding day, like your brain just gets so flustered and you're just like trying to meet everybody.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm sorry.
Oh, that's so funny.
It is what it is.
See, most of like I feel like we have so many things that we just embarrass ourselves. But one thing that happened, this is more like horror story.
All right.
But I was going to a grad shoot and I was taking a different road than I usually take. Like usually I take this one road to get onto the highway or whatever. And I was like, oh, I'll just take this back road. And I didn't realize that it went through like a train track. So I pull up to this intersection and there's a train. So there's a guy in front of me with a truck and a camper, and we're sitting there and sitting there and sitting there, and it's taking forever. And I started to get stressed because I was like, I'm gonna be late for the shoot. And then
freaking trains.
Yeah, clearly the guy in front of me was also frustrated with the train. So he got mad, obviously, put his truck in reverse without looking behind him, and just decided to back up. And he had a big trailer on the back, like a camping trailer, and he puts it in reverse, floors it, and I had no time to react, and he just hit me, and my head like hit the back and like moved my Jeep far.
Oh God!
Like he hit me so hard.
Well, because there's two vehicles that hit you pretty much if you think about it.
Yeah, because he had a big like Super Duty
God.
and this huge trailer. Yeah, he didn't look. He just was pissed off and just went into reverse.
But
so then I start bawling because I had never gone.
You're like, I'm already gonna be late.
Yeah.
I'm in an accident. Now I have to deal with this.
And then the guy gets out and he was just stunned, like didn't know what happened. And I was like, I don't even know what to do. Like, do we
didn't know what happened, sir? You just ran into me.
But I was like upset, and it messed up my Jeep a bit, but like not bad because I had like a bumper. On the front.
Though? I feel like. Because you're in the space of getting ready to go take pictures.
Yeah.
And then that happens and it almost just like frazzles you. Like, I don't know if I'd be able to like shoot properly after that.
And I texted the girl and I was like, I just got into an accident. Like, I'm going to be late. And I was like ready to not go. But the girl had got her hair and makeup done. And I was so upset. So then I took my Jeep with my messed up front bumper and went and shot this grad. But I was so out of it. Like, I just felt...
Yeah, you're just
frazzled.
Your brain's just in a different place at that point.
But I wasn't going to make, like, they were already at the location.
No.
I was late, obviously, because I had to, like, trade information with the guy or whatever. But, yeah, it was the weirdest thing.
Oh, my God.
I know.
Oh, my God. I got run into at a wedding, too.
In your car?
Yeah.
What?
So I was at, like, a wedding, and it was, like, a torrential downpour.
Yeah.
So, like, and also it was at their house, so there wasn't a whole lot of parking. So everyone kind of just parked wherever.
Yeah.
And I was there first, so I parked somewhere. And then it was a torrential downpour. And everybody was like hiding in the shop, waiting for the rain to stop before the ceremony. And they were moving vehicles and stuff.
Yeah.
And somebody was just moving, didn't pay attention, rammed right into my car. And I was like, I watched it happen from the shop. And then they're like, oh, someone got ran into. I'm like, oh, that's me. I had to go over there. And he was really nice. I'm like, he's like, you want to deal with this? I'm like, I don't have time right now. Like, I have a wedding to deal with. Like, at least
Did he wreck anything?
Yeah, he dented it, which that car got written off anyway, so it's fine. I told him, I'm like, yeah, I got written off, so don't worry about it.
Oh, it was already written off.
No, like a few months later, he just hadn't paid me yet, and he was going to. I just hadn't.
Gotcha.
I didn't have time to give up my car.
That was lucky for him.
Well, then he still, like, the nicest man he is, like, because I said, I'm like, well, my car got written off, like, really don't worry about it, because I don't have to pay for it to be fixed now.
Yeah.
And he's like, I know, but it was still a hassle, like, here's he transferred you $500 for the
That's so
mess
nice.
up, but I'm like, you really don't have to. He's like, okay, well, it's done. It's like, okay, thanks, sir.
Aww.
Yeah.
He just felt so bad.
Well, because I didn't have time to get it fixed because I need my car for weddings, so I just didn't have time to give it to the shop to fix it for like 2 days or whatever. But like, yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
One time at a wedding, there was the DJ had his truck, and I think it was he was like borrowing his dad's truck, but he had it pulled up to, I think I don't know what he was doing, something, he needed his truck or something. And these kids were on a golf cart and just like drove into the side of his truck. Yeah.
Did they just drive away out?
No, like they were part of the wedding. And it like dented the truck, and it was his dad's.
God. Kids, watch where you're going.
It was raining.
Has anything happened to you while you've been like out scouting for pictures?
I don't know.
Like when you're like location scouting?
Well, one time I was in Joshua Tree National Park.
Yeah.
And this was back in like, I think it was 2018 or 2019. It was before like COVID days and whatever. And at this point, I don't know if Canada had brought in like the permit thing. Like you have to have a permit to shoot in like national parks. So I had no clue. So my parents were with me and I had two friends, and like we bought like cute dresses and flowers, like kind of made it a styled shoot, but not.
It was more casual.
But it was more,
it's not like you're bringing out.
No, it was more like for our Instagram. Like it wasn't anything, like I wasn't getting paid for it. So we my parents were with us, And we went to the entrance, and my dad like was paying for the park pass or whatever, and he was talking to the guy, and he was like, yeah, my daughter's taking pictures, like, where are some good spots? And the guy was like, oh, go here, blah blah blah. Like, the guy didn't say anything about needing a permit or anything. Yeah. So we like, and I didn't even think that was a thing. So we're like going around taking pictures. We'd been shooting for like an hour and a half, and all of a sudden there's this park ranger, and we thought nothing of it. And he comes up to us, and he was like, oh, I got notified that you ladies were shooting. Do you have a permit? And we're like, no, well, what's that? And he was like, oh, you have, you brought external items into the park. So since we had brought flowers,
oh my God,
it was considered a styled shoot.
So what, could you have not put the flowers away?
Well, he said, he's like, I technically should take your cards, but I am going to leave you with a warning. And I was like, we are doing this like to take pictures of each other. Like, this is not, he's like, since you have professional gear and you have like flowers that you brought from outside the park. So we just went to a different area and didn't like have the flowers, but it was like literally for fun. And we had cute dresses on, whatever. But yeah. And he was like, we'll find you on Instagram if you post them. And
oh my God, that's scary.
A lot. But yeah, that was like traumatizing. It was so scary. I was like, I don't want to shoot anymore because the guy was so rude to us.
I mean, also, yeah, like, why do you have to be so rude?
Yeah.
Just tell us how it is. We don't know.
And like, we're foreign. Like, we're not from Canada. Or Canadians. These little Canadian girls.
Sorry.
Yeah. I had just graduated from Nate, and I was like, I want to get some portfolio pictures, and we were there. And so we were like, yeah, we'll bring flowers to make it look more like, and they weren't wedding dresses. They were literally just flowy, long, cute dresses. But yeah, we were so scared.
One time I was scouting, and I was like going to a spot that I like shoot at all the time. Like, it's my spot.
Yeah.
Like, I just like love it there. And I just went out one day with the dogs, my boyfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And we like were scouting and just running the dog around. And we're like on our way back, and we were running her down the road.
Yeah.
Like, just how you do with your dog off leash. Like, you run with your car, and like they get to run fast. They're all happy. So I just stopped at a random spot on the road. I didn't look into the bush or anything. I just stopped to like let her back in. And my boyfriend, he's like, I have to pee. So he got out and like went to pee.
Yeah.
And then I'm just sitting in the car like jamming. I look back out the window, and he's running back to the car with his pants down. And I'm like, car's in drive. I'm like, what is going on? And I'm like, what is happening? He gets in. He's like, there's a bear right there. And he like got out, looked up, and there was a bear and babies just like there. And I'm like, oh, okay, like, get the dog in the car. We don't need her chasing
Yeah,
this
where was she?
She was outside still. Because if she would have seen that bear.
Yeah, she would have chased it.
We would have been in trouble. But, and I've never seen a bear, like, obviously there's bears around, but I've never seen any out in that area. So definitely I avoided that area for a while. I didn't want to bring anybody there. And usually,
well, imagine if you're shooting,
listen, I'm loud enough that, like, I'm sure a bear would be long gone.
Yeah.
And, like, I play music and it's fine.
Have you ever seen other wildlife?
No, just the bear, like, and maybe, like, a moose, but, like, they were walking, it was fine, but.
I ran into a cougar.
Yeah, that's.
In a grad shoot. It was terrifying.
I just, like, I would die. I think I would just pass out and it would eat me.
Well, and the worst part was it was just me and this girl. It was like her grad photos. And we were like up north of where we live. So we were like by a river, and we were pretty far from the car. Like, the car was parked on the side of a road, and we went to this like open field. And I think I went ahead of her because we wanted to see if we could get down to the river.
Yeah.
And she was like, because she had a big poofy like grad dress, and I was ahead, and then all of a sudden I saw something in the trees, and I was like, oh, it's deer, because of the coloring.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, deers don't walk like that, because it was doing like the crawl.
So creepy.
I know.
That's so creepy. Did you like?
I yelled. I was like, Kennedy, go to the car, and then I like ran, and we got in the vehicle, and we went like did shoot.
It follow you?
Well, we just like changed location.
Did you ever like look back to see if it was coming?
Oh, when we looked back, it wasn't. Like, I just ran to the car.
Oh my God.
I know. So
you never
scary.
know. Like, that scares me. Like, what if you didn't see it?
Well, that's the thing. You have to be careful of where you are.
Because I play music, so like I wouldn't hear.
And the only reason I saw it is because like it was just out of the corner of my eye. I saw like the coloring, because they're kind of like a whatever
like,
color.
Brown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a deer. Then I saw like the way cats walk. Right. Yeah. It was so scary.
Oh my God.
It spooked me. And then my grandpa went and bought me like bear mace.
Yeah. Fair enough.
To keep in my car.
Fair enough.
I don't know if you can use that on a. What?
I would rather use it than.
But like, you're not gonna carry that on you. Like, you have to be near your vehicle. Like, or do you carry that on you?
No, I don't have anything.
I know you probably. If you're hiking.
I'm just loud.
Yeah, that's true. But I feel like a bear is more likely to be scared of you. But
when we're on the topic of animals, This isn't an animal, it's a bug, but I feel like it deserves its own moment. Listen, if you know me, I'm like terrified of spiders. Yeah. Terrified. Like, will crash my car if there's a spider on me. That's so terrified. Funny. And like I wouldn't even feel bad. Like I'd be like, I needed to do that. Anyways, so I'm at a wedding in Golden. Yeah. Beautiful little spot, and we're like sitting down for dinner, and everybody was eating inside, and us vendors ate outside, like at the little patio or whatever. And we're just like enjoying our meal. I was like not feeling great that day. I'm just like trying to like have a nice little dinner. Yeah. And I'm like, I look up and there's those big yellow nasty spiders. Ugh. Like it was flying through the air. Flying. And so the way it like flew past my face and I thought it like landed on my shoulder. Yeah. So I stood up, like threw my food off my plate. I'm screaming. At least I was outside, because if I was inside, I would have caused a scene. Oh. But I was outside. Caitlin, my second shooter, she's like, what's going happening? On? I'm like, look at me. Like, is there a spider at me? Like, I'm freaking out. I'm crying. Like, she's like, okay. She's like looking. She's like, no, Jordan, there's nothing.
Where
there's
did
nothing.
It go?
I think it just flew like right through the air past me, because it was in like a wind drift or whatever. Oh. But I
probably couldn't eat after that.
Listen, I thought it was on me still. Like I like could not rest. I was sweaty. So I was funny. Like, now I can't eat anymore. I'm done. Like, like honestly. And I like there's been weddings where there's spiders on like brides' dresses, and I don't know what it is, but like I can suck it up and be like, shh, get out of here for a bride. But if it's me,
you're absolutely. It's so funny that people can be so like petrified of spiders.
Since we're on the topic of animals again. When we were in Mexico, this didn't happen on the wedding day, but like we were in Mexico for a wedding. So I was like, it was like the second day or like the night we got there, we were like going out to the beach to just check everything out. It was dark, but I just wanted to see. Someone had told us like there was a big python on the loose. Oh. And I'm like, oh, whatever. I don't really care about snakes. Yeah. Spiders. Okay, so we're walking down to the beach, and I'm with like the bride's brother, my boyfriend at the time. Yeah. And myself, and we're all walking down, and it was like raining a little bit, and then we see these like guys from the resort like all huddled in a bush with like a big bin, and we're like, that's weird.
What are they doing?
So we like get closer, and then we see the python, and they're trying to wrangle it into the bin to get it out. That must have been the python everyone was talking about. So we're like, okay, like we're like kind of not far back, we're probably like a few meters back, but we're close enough. And I'm like, okay, like the park guys did not see us. They didn't know we were there. Yeah. Like the resort guys, sorry. And all of a sudden, like it must have like moved, and they like had their little snake stick, and they like flipped it into the air. And instead of flipping it into the air into the bin, they threw it down the sidewalk at us. And then it's raining, okay? Like, right? So like they throw the snake, and then it starts sliding down the boardwalk at us. And there was also this random girl from like
Stop. That's scary.
There was also this random girl from the resort that was like kind of like with us, and she's Snapchatting as this is all happening.
Did she get a video?
So me and this random girl are like we freaked out, and we like by the time that snake was in the air, we were running away. And so we run, and then we like go hide behind a thing. And I look back, and the bride's brother and my boyfriend at the time are just standing there like stoked on life.
They're probably,
They're like, it almost touched us. Like they're stoked. We're screaming and crying behind like this building. I don't know where the snake went.
They didn't catch it?
I don't know. I was like done at that point. They're like, he's like, it almost touched me. How cool. I'm like, are you crazy? Like, I have a wedding to shoot. I can't be getting killed by snakes. Anyways, that was traumatizing. So the girl, she's like, oh my God, look at my Snapchat. And it's like a video of us watching. The snake flips up, and then it's just us running away. And then it cuts out. I wish I would have had her like send it to me.
Yeah, I was gonna say I want to see this.
It was actually so funny, but like I was more terrified. Like I didn't even give that snake a chance to get close to me. I was gone.
Ran.
I'm not even scared of them, but like when it's flying at you,
and when it's probably a big snake.
It was big. It was like longer than my arms. That's why they were trying to get rid of him. Anyways, not the wedding day, but like
the day before.
Yeah,
imagine that thing's on the loose at your wedding.
Not a fan.
That's insane.
I think those are my only two crazy animal stories.
Well, I've never heard that story. That was a very good one.
Tell you.
That's so funny. So this is so funny because back in the day when we first started our photography careers, a really big thing, there was this site and it was called Looks Like Film.
Like a feature wedding.
Yeah,
account.
it was like they would repost your photos and they would do blogs and whatever.
Yeah.
And like we were obsessed with trying to get featured.
Everybody as a photographer wanted to get, it's called a choo-choo.
Yeah.
And it seems dumb. I don't know why it's called a choo-choo, but it really means like, I think you had to get like 500 likes when you posted a picture into the group, and then they would reshare it onto their blog. Yes. It's like, if you were part of the elite crew that got a choo-choo, like you have made it.
It was like a big deal. It was, so you're in this like photography group and people would post like really good pictures, or they would post just like funny stuff. Like a lot of it was like funny pictures. Yeah. So anyways, we would try so hard to get choo-chooed, posting in the group, whatever. Yep. So I went to this wedding and I kind of like, I went to high school with one of the groomsmen and I knew them kind of just like from life, whatever. So it was like, I think we were doing sunset pictures and with the bride and groom. And then all of a sudden the groomsmen have this picture idea. So
I love when they come up with these ideas. You're like, either this is going to be really funny or it's like going to be just...
Or I'm going to be so uncomfortable shooting this. So I was like, okay, sure, whatever. So they tell me that on the groom's bachelor party, one of the groomsmen had a tattoo gun. And the other groomsman was like an artist. Of course
they did.
Yeah. So the artist groomsman draws all of the groomsmen on Mount Rushmore. And so he put all the faces of the groomsmen on Mount Rushmore. And the friend with the tattoo gun tattoos this image on the groom's butt. So they're like, we want a picture of the groom's butt with all of our faces beside his butt.
Like, of course they would. Like, this
is such a
stereotypical groomsman
behavior. Yeah. At least they didn't ask me to take a picture of them all peeing in a line, because that's like every other wedding.
I was about to say, it's either like a crazy idea like this, or they're like, oh, take a picture of us peeing on the side of the road.
Why do groomsmen think that's the funniest thing ever?
Whatever. We all do it for them, but it's like, we don't want to take this photo.
Exactly.
But we'll do it because we like you. It's fine.
Yeah, every time. They think it's the funniest thing. Oh. But yeah, so they all line up beside the groomsman or the groom's butt, and like they're right beside his butt, like cheek in cheek, literally. So I took this photo and I was like, this would be so funny on Looks Like Film. See what happens. Yep. Okay. I post it, didn't really think anything of it. And Looks Like Film, I think it got like 2,000 likes or something. So it got choo-chooed.
Out of all the pictures we tried to get featured,
this is the picture. They ended up putting it, so they had like a blog post and it was like 50 or 10 funniest wedding photos, whatever.
You were in it?
Oh no, this was the cover.
Oh my god, stop!
The blog, and they tagged me, like they SEO tagged me.
So now that picture pops up when you Google Sarah Thorpe photography. When you Google
Sarah Thorpe photography, it is on the first page.
LOL! Everybody, please go do it.
But it was cool because like it's the first photo on that blog post.
That's hilarious.
But yeah. That's the picture.
I'm crying.
That I got featured
I
on.
just like,
I know.
Of course it's that picture.
Right? Like, and it's a good picture. I guess.
I liked it. It was funny.
Yeah. And it's like, it's honestly harmless. It's like,
you know what but the thing is, like, as a photographer, like we're wedding photographers, we're there to like take pictures so that you can remember your day. And like, that's one picture from their wedding that like, it's going to be brought back into the, like, they're going to look at it every year or whatever. Like, they're never going to forget about that.
And they're like, we were on the stag and we had a tattoo
like,
gun.
That's what we're there for, really, totally. As like crazy and funny as it is, like it's hilarious.
And like I don't know, we're easygoing. We like that kind of stuff. Like we're down for whatever. So but funny. Yeah, they just thought it was the funniest thing. So that was a very funny one. Oh, but the other one I had was it was a Kelowna wedding. It was the morning of the wedding. I was told the story after the fact. So the groom went to go get dressed. And this couple had just bought like a home to like flip and reno, and they were like cleaning out their closet. So he was like taking old stuff and throwing it in bags to donate.
Oh, how nice of him.
Yeah. So he was going through his stuff, and when he went to put on his pants on the morning of his wedding, he realized he didn't have them. And he was like, oh, shoot. I must have thrown them in the donation bag.
Oh, someone got some really nice pants.
But these were the pants that, like, all the grooms were wearing. Or all the groomsmen, sorry. Like, they were all matched, right? In the same black suits. Yeah. So he was like, the photographer's going to be here in an hour, and...
I don't have pants.
It's
probably like 10 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I can't buy pants.
And
oh my God.
So one of the groomsmen ran to Tip Top Tailors and, like, said, do you have this size? And they're like, I don't know if they even got the same size. But they got him pants. But, like, we got there, and he was like, you'll never guess what just happened. Like, we just got back from the, like, suit store. And
oh, my God.
But, like, it's a good thing that they were in the same city where they got, because some people get online.
Like, where I am at, we couldn't do that.
No. So, luckily, he got that. And then he didn't tell the bride till after. And, like, we were on, like, a party bus going from, like, location to location.
Funny story.
And he stood up at the front, and he was like, Ashley, I got to tell you something. And the photos of her reaction were like...
Yeah,
you threw out your pants.
Well, on the topic of groom's pants.
Yeah.
So I'm shooting a wedding, and we're, like, taking pictures. It was they did a first look, so we did all of the photos before the ceremony. They hadn't walked down the aisle yet.
Yeah.
So we're taking the groomsmen photos, and I always do, like, individual photos with the groom and each of his groomsmen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, do a nice one. And then I always let them do something funny because, like, the guys love it.
They love it, yeah.
And then the one guy's like, I'm going to pick him up. So, and usually, like, that happens all the time.
Oh, yeah, all the time.
Picks him up, and the groom's face is just, like, immediately, like, oh. And I'm like, oh, no, I know exactly what happened. His pants ripped, and it wasn't just, like, a little, like, cheek out. You could see his purple underwear.
No.
Like, it was, like, a full-on, and he's like, oh, my God, she's gonna kill me. She's like, the one thing she told me to do was be good and, like, not do this. I'm like, okay. Like, I have Photoshop. Like, let's just finish the rest of the pictures because it's in the back. So we can take these pictures with the groomsmen from the front. Like, you can't see your pants right now. And he's like, I don't want to tell her. I don't want to. Like, I'm like, you're going to have to tell her or else she's going to see it and it's going to be worse. Like, you have to tell her. So finally, like, the bridal party photos were done. And it was time for their portraits.
And he still hadn't told her?
And no, because she was away. So she came back for their portraits now. And I'm like, okay, like
what are you gonna
tell her? And he's like, okay, so, like, look at my pants. And she was like, are you kidding? Like, she wasn't mad, but she's like the one thing I asked you to do.
So what did he do?
I photoshopped them, like, for the pictures. Like, honestly, it wasn't that bad.
Like, when he walked down the aisle?
No, he got different pants. Oh. Moral of the story, he got different pants. But, like, for all the pictures, I had to Photoshop AI, like... Literally, you cannot tell. Like, you can't tell. Literally, there was, like, a flap, like, flapping in the wind. That's how bad this rip was. And, like...
Did he, like, start working out or something?
No, it's just the way that the one groomsman picked him up. It was just, like, a weird angle, and they just ripped.
I feel like they rip easy.
I think they do, too.
Okay, I had a bride's dress...
What?
Rip. Same kind of story, actually.
No.
This was so bad. So, her dress was beautiful, but, like, it was... kind of like buttons as a strap almost.
Oh, that's pretty.
It was pretty, but what happened was the groomsmen were picking her up, like, you know how they do that side pickup?
Yes.
Like, they lay on their side and they pick her up?
Yeah.
So, same thing, they were picking her up, but I think it, like, pulled on her strap, her entire strap, literally, like, bust open, and all the beads flew, and it went like this, and she was, like, grabbed herself. And all of a sudden the photos, like, the one groomsman that was holding her, like, right by, like, her upper body, like, his jaw dropped, her jaw dropped, and we're all like, her entire strap was wrecked.
Oh, and probably just from the angle they picked her up at,
So we're like, what do you do? Like, her, and it was the tiniest little strap.
How'd you fix it?
So we were in a small town in Saskatchewan, and the grooms, or the best man, was like, cross the street, that lady's a seamstress, go. So then the bride and the bridesmaids all book her, and luckily we were at the end of portraits. They go across the street, this lady sews her back together. But yeah.
God bless. Small towns.
Yeah.
You know a guy.
And of course, it was literally across the street. Like,
that's
we were
hilarious.
On this, like, I think it was like a museum area.
Yeah.
And right across the street, the lady, he's like, I know her, she's a seamstress.
Oh my God.
So yeah, she fixed it. But could you imagine your dress? Like, I'd be so mad at the designer too. Like, what are the chances that, but if it's that small?
I think sometimes it's just, it just, like, it's like buttons, like, they fall off sometimes. You can't do anything about it.
But, like, and her dress was heavy. Like, you'd think that they'd have better straps.
Yeah, you'd
for you to hold, because it was like a poofy
dress. Like, that's a lot of weight.
And it was very beaded, and beads are heavy, so
maybe like it's a combination of how hot it is and like sweat and like I don't know.
But also the way they were holding her, so be careful with that pose, because I feel like it could.
I was at a wedding and we did like a champagne pop.
Oh yes.
And it was like, I always get them to usually like pop the champagne like at my general direction, because I don't want them to pop it at their bridal party.
Yeah.
Because everyone looks beautiful. They have makeup and hair done. Like, fair enough. But like when you pop champagne at a camera, because there was me and there was a video crew. Yeah. So there was like a lot, and I had to there was 4 cameras or 5. Like there was a whole bunch of us. Yeah. So the videographer was like, "Can you please like pop it off to the side so it doesn't spray my camera?" Which is fair. Like it's like hard, like especially for video. If you get champagne on your lens, you like have to clean it.
And one time I got so much champagne in my lens that it like completely got stuck.
Yeah.
So and I had to get it fixed.
So she went to pop, or he went to she went to pop the champagne off to the side. Sprayed one of her bridesmaids like completely with the whole bottle of champagne. And she's like, they got it all on video, so we like all like huddled around the videographer, and like it was a funny moment. It wasn't like
her makeup was probably all ruined.
Honestly, she looked pretty good still. Like we did portraits, and then she went and curled her hair again, kind of like before.
It was that bad?
Yeah, she was wet. Like her hair was wet.
And it would be sticky.
She was sticky. Ugh. And I was like, this is why I get them to pop it at me.
Especially if it's windy or anything.
Listen, I would rather be looking disgusting and covered in champagne than anybody else.
And they can spray it at you, but like slightly off the side, so it's not...
It was just, I felt bad. No. But they were all like troops about it. Yeah. Like they were troopers. It was funny. Like it's now a story that they'll probably talk about.
The videographer probably felt bad too.
Yeah, he probably made them a little blooper reel with just that like moment in it. But
just
like
getting completely shot in the face with champagne.
That would not be fun.
That's
champagne showers.
So brutal. Yeah, literally.
Or like the time, you were with me for this funny one, so you'll remember this.
What? Oh, yes.
But like I had a wedding on the weekend for a friend of mine, and it was like the Tuesday, and I had like another job at that time, and I'm like, hey, I can't go to work. I'm feeling like crap. Yeah. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. I tried to go to work and I was just so tired. Finally, I figured out I had mono. I went to the doctor. I had mono, but I had a wedding Saturday. Yeah. And like, remember how I was talking about how like, when we're sick, we don't really have a choice. No, like either you find someone else to shoot it for you, or you have to still go.
Is so hard.
Which is hard in wedding season when every other photographer around you is booked. So I'm like really trying to rally. I'm like, okay, like I'm trying to heal myself before Saturday, and it's Thursday I think when I'm like, I text Sarah and I'm like, Sarah, I have mono. I'm like,
I think it was Friday.
when you have mono, I don't know if you've ever had it, but like you're extremely tired. Like you literally can't. It's like you don't do anything and you're tired. Ugh. And I just felt like absolute garbage. Yeah. And I'm like texted Sarah and I'm like, is there a chance you're not busy tomorrow? Because also too, like Sarah lives 4 hours away from me, and she has a full wedding of a summer of weddings. Yeah. So like I was like, this is a long shot, but I'm just gonna ask, because if Sarah couldn't help me, I would have had to ask someone else. But I'm like, maybe Sarah's free.
And it just so happened that I was in Edmonton. I was only 2 hours away.
So I'm like, Sarah, I don't care what I need to do to get you to like, first of all, because like. I'm like, can you just drive me to this shoot in Jasper? Yeah. Or the wedding, sorry. And Sarah's like, okay, I will. Yeah. And so Sarah comes and rescues me in like my town, goes and picks me up. We drive to Jasper, shoot this wedding. Yeah. It all worked out. It was a beautiful, beautiful day.
But you were exhausted.
But I think if I had to do it alone, and like, first of all, if I had to drive there, shoot the wedding, and then drive home, I think I probably would have passed out at some point. Yeah. Like I was so tired.
So dehydrated and so
Sarah drove me as I slept in the car, and then I slept all the way home.
Literally. You looked like
I looked like
white.
Shit.
Yeah, it was awful. Yeah.
And like thankfully it was a friend of mine. Yeah. So like she didn't really care how I looked.
No.
And like
you still looked good.
I still looked okay, but I felt like garbage. Sarah was there to like, I just needed Sarah there just in case I like couldn't do it anymore.
Well, and also like when you're feeling like that, even just like
so hard to be creative.
You like need that support.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was like, that was almost real bad, but I rallied. Like that's the thing. You have to just like, I didn't have a choice. I just had to get over it and do it. No. Like,
and there's been weddings where I have felt horrible. And even sometimes it's like when you have to put on that face of like, I feel fine. It almost makes you feel better. So you just gotta.
It's a win-win, really.
Yeah. Have coffee and just rally. Yeah. So are we ready for the grand finale?
Why are you looking at me? Is it my story?
This is Jordan's story. I had no part in this.
Listen, I can laugh about it now. It was horrifying in the moment.
Yes.
Let me set you the scene.
Yes, set the scene.
Okay. So I was hired. Like I live in a small-ish community. So there's a guy in our town and he does like rodeo kind of stuff. He's a rodeo clown. But he started to do like rodeo events and like bull riding and stuff at his house. So he hired me because he has Mexican fighting bulls.
Which I didn't even know was a thing.
And if anybody knows like rodeo, or if you're listening and you know.
Is this a rodeo thing?
Like it is like so Mexican.
PBR thing or no?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like, well, it's not, no. Like what he does isn't, but like that's kind of what he's trying to get up to. Like they're like the meanest bulls you can find, really. Like they're bred, like they call them, that's like I'm calling them Mexican fighting bulls because they're not just regular bulls. Like they're bred to be mean. That's just like they breed the meanest bulls together so they can get meaner bulls. Like that's the whole point because they're hard to ride. They're hard.
And did it start in Mexico?
Yeah, like that. Yeah,
oh,
yeah, because that's like the rodeo is huge in Mexico.
Oh.
So he hired me to come take some like promotional branding shots for his business, and I was like, sweet, like that's actually really cool.
Yeah,
like
something different.
So I like went there and he has some baby calves. Like he has like animals, and so it's all fenced. And I was like, on the outside of the fence, taking pictures like through the fence. It seemed pretty legit. Like I was.
And you think like a fence is sturdy? Like there's a reason a fence is there.
Yeah.
You think.
You think. So I'm taking pictures. In hindsight, I don't know if I would ever do it again.
Probably not.
So I'm taking pictures. Everything's well. I took my boyfriend at the time because it's funny because I usually don't take anybody to shoots.
Yeah.
But he kind of knew the guy, and it's also like he grew up in rodeo, so like I just brought him for fun.
Yeah.
And then the guy that was doing the rodeo stuff, he had his girlfriend there too. So it was kind of just like four of us. We were all hanging out, taking pictures. It was a great evening. Well, it was a great evening. So I'm taking pictures, and then he was putting different bulls into the corrals for me to take pictures of. So he puts the next bull in because I had done a few at this point. And this guy's name is Mad Chad. I'm just gonna start off. First of all, he was very mad. And so he's in the corral and I'm taking pictures of him through the fence. I didn't grow up on a farm, okay? It's that the panels were freestanding. They weren't pounded in the ground. So freestanding panels just sit on top of the ground instead of being dug into the ground. So they're like when they're dug into the ground, they're more sturdy. So I'm outside of the freestanding panel fence. He's on the inside of the panel fence. And he was feeling extra mad that day, and he was kind of like ramming the fence, which they all kind of did.
Yeah.
But it wasn't moving. He was extra mad, and when he rammed it, the fence panel flew into the air, smacked me in the face. I was passed out at this point. So all the rest of this story, I'm telling from like personal encounters.
Was the guy around you when this happened?
So he was close, but like not close enough to like save me at that.
Yeah.
Anyway, so the panel flies in the air, knocks me out. Like at this point, I don't know what's going on because I'm passed out. My camera flies also through the air. I'm now laying on the ground, panels like off to the side. And if anybody knows rodeo or whatever, what do bulls want to do? Like they want to get you. That's the whole point, especially these Mexican fighting bulls. Like they're mean. So he comes out because now the panel is open. He can get out of the fence. So he comes out and this part of the story. I am passed away. I'm unconscious. So I'm being told this from people that were there. But he like came out of his little fenced in place and he's like doing the little thing bulls do, like where they like stomp their feet, like, and they're ready to come get you with their head. Like, have you seen the videos where they're like taking
maybe
they're like coming to get you and then they like put their head in, and he had horns, by the way, just so you know. So I'm passed away. I'm laying in the ground. And my boyfriend at the time, and also the guy that hired, like they were all off to the side, but I don't know, like he's a rodeo clown, so like his job when he does his rodeo stuff is to usually distract the bulls. Yeah. So in a perfect world, he should have been able to like come and distract the bull to get him away from me, because that's what he does. But he didn't. And then my boyfriend at the time, he like his adrenaline just like kicked in and like he ran in because he used to do rodeo a little bit. Like it's been a long time. Yeah. But he literally grabbed the bull by the horns as he was like coming to get me. Grabbed him and like just pulled him off to the side, and then that bull ran away.
Oh my
thankfully,
goodness.
because honestly, like they're so unpredictable. He could have very well turned around and like got him or came back from him. Like there's a good chance he could have not ran away. So he ran away, thankfully. I'm still laying on the ground. Then I get up and like my nose is broken sideways. Like my teeth are loose and just like hanging at this point. Blood's like streaming down my face. I get up and I'm like, what's going on? And my boyfriend at the time is like, okay, we need to go. Like you look like trash. Like, you look like you
just got attacked by a bull.
You look like you should be dead.
Honestly, you could have died.
I could also not. Yeah, I think if I didn't bring my boyfriend there at the time, I think I'd be done.
Well, because that bull would have came back for you and probably could have stepped on you.
No, honestly, and he said, just from watching it, because he said a lot of it's a blur for him too, because it's adrenaline.
Well,
and
he was probably
crazy.
like, oh, I brought this girl here and now.
But he said, he's like, honestly, if 2 seconds and he would have got on top of you, it was that close. Oh. He was literally from me to the wall over there, close, and.
Jordan.
And honestly, and so then I'm like, okay, I'm trying to be optimistic. I'm like, let's just go to the hospital. I'm fine. I'm not dead. It's okay. Everyone's mad at this point. It's a big scene. And we get my camera. Honestly, the camera has no scratches on it.
Yeah, I was going to say, what happened to your camera?
Perfectly fine.
Did you just have one or did you have two?
I just had one, but it got flung.
Yes, so that's probably why it was fine.
It was fine.
Because if you had it attached on your straps.
Yeah, it would have been.
Because usually Jordan and I shoot with our dual strap.
So we go to the
they would have fallen.
We go to the hospital, and they're like, "What happened to you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I got run in, a bull ran over me, pretty much." And they're like, "What?" I was the talk of the hospital.
Probably.
And then I'm like,
this poor photographer girl.
I'm just trying to take cute pictures. By the way, pictures turned out great.
That one picture though, Jordan.
There's one picture up. It's blurry, and I'm falling backwards.
But the one you took right before he ran at you is so.
We'll have
creepy.
to put it over this video because honestly, he's staring me down.
Yes,
he's mad. And honestly,
it gives me goosebumps. It's so creepy.
It's a freak accident, and it sucks. It happened. I'm alive. But so I go and I go to the hospital. They're shocked that it even happened to me. And they're like, this is all, as much as it looked horrible, they're like, this is all. And I'm like, I was bruised everywhere.
Yeah, I was going to say, didn't you have black eyes too?
I had 2 black eyes because when your nose breaks, you get black eyes.
Especially how bad your nose was broken.
And
we have to show the picture.
Yeah, and I have a video too. But they had to put me under to fix my nose because usually they crack your nose back in place. Yeah,
but it was so messed.
But they didn't want to screw it up by doing that. They're like, we're gonna put you under and put it right because it's it's so weird.
Ugh.
And
so did you get put under that same day?
No, a week later.
So your nose was like that for that long?
So they put it on they have little nose braces they can put on. Even though, and then the rumor mill, it's a small community, everybody's talking. I went to get my tires changed a week after, so I still had the nose thing, I think. And they looked at me and they're like, "Are you the girl that got run over by a bull?" And I'm like, "Yeah,
you're a celebrity.
That's me. Hey." I didn't actively tell anybody, but everyone knew. I still haven't went back. He does rodeo events now. I still haven't went back because I'm honestly maybe a little terrified.
Well,
I was scared of cows for a long time, even not just bulls, but cows in general. I thought it was a sick joke because the place I was living at, we lived in the country, and it was summer, so they put cows on one side of our house, and then they also put cows on the other side of our house.
So you were
so every time I left my house, it was just cows, and I was like, I'm being haunted.
Well, even
honestly,
I could see how that would be traumatizing because it's the same animal. They look.
Honestly, I'm better now. They don't scare me. I actually had a shoot with a nice farmer, and he's like, "Jordan, we're gonna help you out with these cows, the
Make
spear
you
of
feel
cows,
better.
because all his cows are nice." He's like, "Let's go pet some cows." While we were doing their photos, and he's like, "These are the nice ones. I made sure the mean ones were gone."
They're probably all the Aww.
And it was honestly very soothing. It was very nice,
healing.
It was
just no bulls.
It was a healing moment for me, but. Honestly, yeah, it was very traumatizing. And then when they put me under to fix my nose, they asked me if I had a song request. I'm like, can you play I don't know what AC/DC song I asked for, but something Savage, because I
Back in Black.
Yeah, I think something like that. I'm like, honestly, can you just play something really badass? And that's what they put me under too.
Why?
I don't know. I was feeling, honestly, I haven't had a new lease on life. I was like, I survived this.
You survived.
I am a new woman.
I feel that's one of the best, photography, stories.
Honestly, I wouldn't suggest doing it. Don't ever. And now he has panels in the ground, so I could technically go back. I don't think I could go back there though. I'm just terrified.
I don't think I want you to.
Sarah's like, no absolutely not. We're not doing this again.
I can't believe you were unconscious.
Oh yeah,
did you get a bit of a concussion?
Yeah, I had to stay in a dark room for a week.
So you did have a concussion.
And thankfully it was spring, so I wasn't, because honestly, like if that stuff happens to you in the middle of wedding season, I would have been
show up to wedding with a nose brace and
I would have done it, but like, oh my god. It's my most famous story to this date.
That is wild.
Mad Chad me for the rest of my life. It's always gonna be in my brain.
I know that story. I was like, we almost did this episode just because of that story.
Honestly, I'm glad I can bring you guys some entertainment, but like, I would not recommend.
No.
Like, it's just, bulls are just like something else. I just like,
unless you're like a designated like rodeo photographer, maybe, but like,
I give you mad props because there's one of the girls we graduated from, Nate, and she does rodeo photography.
And they get in the...
I talked to her about this. Like,
what'd she say?
She's like, that is the scariest. She's like, she said that she's been in the arena sometimes where like a bull will, because they have rodeo clowns, so they distract them, but they usually stand on the outside right beside the fence so they can climb up the fence really quick. But she's like, one year... She said, I can't remember exactly what she said happened, but she had turned her head and then she looked back and he was coming and she had to like run up that fence. Like she almost got like pummeled.
Well, and you have cameras on you.
Yeah, and also when you're doing rodeo, your cameras are a lot bigger than the cameras we use.
Long
they
lens.
use huge lenses.
Yeah.
She's like, honestly, that's so scary. She's like, I'm sorry that happened to you. And she's like, listen, I'm like a rodeo photographer and that's never happened to me. And I'm like, well...
But like, do you tell that story at every like engagement session where you're on a farm?
Sometimes I do. Yeah, I'm like, hey guys,
that's a good
listen to this
icebreaker.
It is, but like, I think I was talking to somebody and he's like, yeah, I was talking to these friends of mine. And I didn't know that was you that got run over by the bull. I'm like, obviously people.
This is why this is good. We'll share this and everyone will know.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
they already do.
They already do. Oh man.
But yeah,
I think that is the best
PSA,
one.
just be safe.
Yeah.
Around farm animals.
Around all animals.
You never know what they're going to do.
Get some protection, some mace or whatever.
I don't think I could have maced him.
No. But like if you're hiking or if you're doing shoots in the woods, like you got to be careful. So scary. But I think, that was the best story.
Wrap it up with that.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll have more after this wedding season.
Oh gosh, I hope none like that.
No. I hope not either. I just hope just like some funny things happen to us.
We're gonna have to do another one, and I really do want to do like submissions and see if you guys have any stories and we can do like anonymous, like they don't have
even
to be
just
crazy.
Like how it'd be funny to like hear like people that are in weddings, like their stories, not even like from photographer's perspective, but like things that have happened.
Brides and grooms,
or
like
just like crazy things
members,
that have happened.
Because there's some like. And there's stories that we obviously won't share because, things happen at weddings. But if it's anonymous and someone else tells a story, then
it's not ours.
Whatever.
Yeah. Thanks for laughing with us. I hope that these weren't too traumatizing.
Yeah, no.
But
this is 99% of weddings are good, but like
this is more.
We
can all laugh about it now. Yeah. I think the bull thing, like, listen, it wasn't funny at the time, but like it's funny to say now because I have survived it. I'm a survivor.
Survivor of bull attack. I feel like that's a very small group too, so.
Honestly, yeah, there's not that many of us.
No, probably not.
I honestly, at this point, I should just become a bull rider.
You think?
Yeehaw!
That's one way to get over your
Listen, you guys, I already survived it once. I feel like that's a sign that this is maybe my new career path, so I'm just going to say I'm formally retiring from wedding photography.
Yep.
No, I'm kidding, April Fools.
Yeah.
But
only like mid-April, but April Fools.
But it's, wild times.
Yeah, well, thanks for listening, and make sure if you have a good story, DM us and let us know.
Write it in your notes app for when we ask you.
We need to know because there's some good ones out there.
We want to laugh with you as well.
Well, thank you for listening. See you next
Bye.
week. Bye.